is what it looked like south of the city. Now we're going west out to Worcester. That's where Christina Shalhoop is, where visibility here may be a bit better, but still snowing and still windy, Christina.
Yeah, and better is relative because we've had visibility at, if not below, a quarter mile for the last, I would say, 5 hours now, trying to tally things up in my head. Yeah, it's been 5 hours of this, and I've got to tell you, this is starting to get even windier than when we first joined you at 6 o'clock this morning. We've seen gusts in the 40s for 4 hours, and then the last hour we finally had gusts getting up into the 50s. We are in the thick of this storm, and you're going to feel those gusts if you go outside. I don't necessarily suggest it here. I actually feel like I have to brace myself a little more. I haven't had to do that until the last hour or so. So it's definitely picking up the wind and the snow. I will say it's tough to get snow totals. I'm not going to lie about it, and that's because it's blowing so hard out here. We are looking at about 5 inches. I gave a couple of guesses, or not guesses, I shouldn't say that, a couple of estimates. I do have the ruler and the yardstick as we head out and about. So I've tried to find some really good spots. It is tough, but they're out there. So if you're measuring, remember, you do want to have a nice flat spot, something like cement, concrete that hasn't been plowed yet, and you don't want to go for the drifts because those aren't accurate numbers, right? That's snow blowing in one big pile, not actually how much has fallen. So you want to make sure you're in an area where you have that nice flat snowpack, not those drifts all over the place. Now, one other thing I want to mention, with all of the wind, finally had to put the ski goggles on. Shout out to my photographer Chayton because, you know, I had some storm hubris coming in here. I felt like I packed really well for this one. Guess what I forgot? The ski goggles. Chayton had them. I appreciate them because, my goodness, it is hard to see without them. The snow is blowing in your eyes, it's blowing in your face. And I know that's not just here in Worcester. It is all over, not just Massachusetts, but southern New England in general. And again, this storm's not really going to let up until the afternoon. So if you have to be out and about, if you have to head in, maybe you work for emergency services or something like that, just be super careful out here, as it's more than uncomfortable as you're getting out and about, whether you're walking or one of the very few people that we've seen driving this morning. From here in Worcester, I'm Christina Shalhoop. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Christina. We're going to check in with 7's Laura.
This is the peak. We're getting nervous. You're going to blow away. Stay safe out there. We want to go out live now to Christina Shalhoop, who is live in Worcester. Also looking like we can't see much behind you, Christina. Got maybe some cars going by. How you doing out there?
Oh, you know, doing all right, but you're totally right here. Visibility is low. It's been down to about a quarter mile for the last 4 hours or so, considering the wind and the blowing snow. Now, I'm trying a new tactic here. I figure I'm going to stay low to the ground and see if that helps, but I'll be real with you. It doesn't. It's still super windy. And along with that low visibility, for the last 4 hours here in Worcester, we have had gusts well up into the 40s, couple almost 50 miles per hour. And considering we're in the worst part of this storm, I expect us to get those 30s, 40s, and maybe even some 50s gusts over the next 3 or 4 hours or so as the snow's coming down here and the wind continues to howl. Now, in terms of the snow, the blowing snow, these drifts, it makes it really hard to measure that. And I have to give some massive credit to the folks out here in Worcester because they have been plowing since the second the snow started falling last night. And as you can see, the sidewalk in front of me, I mean, there's really not too much left, at least for the meantime anyway. So all that said, it's a little tough to take measurements, but I've gone for a little meander here around downtown Worcester and done my best to get you an accurate measurement. And I think what I can tell you so far is we've had about 4.5 inches since the snow started falling last night. And again, we're really getting into the meat of this storm. So it's just going to keep going between the storm and the wind, or the snow and the wind rather. So whether you are in Worcester or just about anywhere else in Massachusetts or southern New England right now, I'd say cozy inside is the place to be. I'll be here in the snowbank in the meantime. So guys, I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Christina, you're doing a great job out there. You look nice and cozy there in Worcester, sitting in all that.
We're heading to Worcester now, and meteorologist Christina Shalhoop joins us live there. Christina, we're in the height of the storm, but we've still got a long ways to go.
Yeah, still a lot of snow and a lot of wind left to go. I have to tell you guys, you just missed it. For the first time this morning, we got a gust so aggressive that I had to go like this and brace myself a little bit. I haven't had to do that until that point, but gusts over the last 4 hours have been in the 40s. So that definitely says something about the strength of this storm. Again, we are getting into really the meat of the storm here, the worst of conditions between both the wind and the snow. There it goes a little bit. You can see those gusts here in downtown Worcester. We're just off of Front Street here, and it's been like this. Excuse me while I try not to eat my hair. It's been like this for the last couple of hours, and it's not going to let up anytime soon. Now, again, we've seen gusts in the 40s. We've seen visibility down to, if not below, a quarter mile. we are very close to that blizzard criteria. Remember, you need a quarter-mile visibility or less, wind gusts frequently at 35 miles per hour or greater, falling or blowing snow. We certainly have that, and all that has to last for 3 hours or more. And considering what we've seen so far, I would be honestly kind of shocked if we did not officially check that off the list. So something to watch for as we move later through the storm. Hopefully you're watching this cozy at home and you don't have to deal with too much with yourself. I do want to mention one other thing in terms of measurements here. It's going to be really hard to get them, not only because crews have been incredible. You can see the sidewalk around me. I mean, there's hardly any snow here. We have seen people with plows and shovels out since we got here yesterday evening. The second the flakes started falling, they were getting to work here in Worcester. Very impressive. But also, with all the wind and the snow drifts, you're either going to get these teeny tiny little snow amounts or massive snow piles. So it's going to be really hard to get an accurate measurement, but I promise I have both the ruler and the yardstick with me. We're expecting about a foot here by the time this storm is done. And so far, according to my best measurements, I've been walking around trying to get some really good ones for you here. I would say we're at about 5 inches of snow so far, and counting, considering the snow is coming down heavier now than it was last night. So just make sure you're staying safe out there. We'll continue to do the same here in Worcester and bring you conditions throughout the morning. Guys, back to you.
Let's head to Worcester now. 7's Christina Shalhoub is live for us there. They've received 10 inches so far. And Christina, how are things looking where you are?
They're looking all right. Okay, you know what? I've got a pretty good comparison for you. You know when you're on the tee and you get up for your stop just a little too early and you kind of have to go like this so you don't shake around as the train comes to a stop? Well, that's been me throughout the morning. Every time we get one of these big gusts, I just have to do one of these for a second. We've had gusts up into the 40s for the last 5 hours, and 1 hour, about 2 hours ago, we actually had a max wind gust at 56 miles per hour coming in from the Worcester airport. And by the way, that's where we have that 10-inch pressure. This is it, guys. This is that, you know, T-stop moment right there. That's what we're dealing with here in Worcester, and really what everyone's dealing with across the Bay State, as our blizzard conditions have certainly come in between the snow and the wind. Now, I will tell you this much. I have done my absolute best to measure snowfall this morning, but unfortunately, I don't think my best is good enough on this one, just considering all of the blowing snow. It is so hard to get a real measurement. That, and the fact that crews have been so good here. It is nearly impossible to keep up with the snow on the roads and the sidewalks, considering everything, but they've done a great job of trying. So I'm leaving those official snow reports to the airport where they have a little more of a handle on things there, but I'll keep doing my best with the handy-dandy ruler. But for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Christina, thank you. 7's Christina Shalhoub is live for us. And Christina, you guys have received around 11 inches so far. How are conditions right now?
Well, in the words of Dan Housley, it's not great, but it could be worse. We could be in Marshfield with Rob, so we've got that going for us. But I tell you what, you can see me kind of bracing myself here. Every couple of minutes, we get a big gust into the 40s and 50s, and that's how it's been since about 2:30 this morning. And I will say this, when we originally got out here at about 6 a.m., I didn't have to do one of these, but it's gotten progressively worse and more consistent as well. We're getting more and more of these big-time gusts into the upper 40s and low to mid 50s as we've gotten throughout the duration of this storm. And again, we're still in some of the worst parts. It's pretty